Howdy y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is AR Cavley, and I thought I would do a final little plug for my own stuff that I make. I've mentioned previously that I had made some 1 or 2 page products for the Tricube Tails systems. I thought I'd just run through them quickly to, again, showcase the things that I've made, and in this case they are all for the Tricube Tails game system. So without further ado, this is part 1 of my 80s action Tricube Tails. These are mostly like in the standard Tricube Tails 1 page campaign. This shows off the idea that Tricube Tails, you can use basically the vehicles as your character. You, of course, are the pilot, but since all of the action takes place while you're in your vehicle, you use the perks and quirks not only of your pilot, but the character itself. So this is a Fleet Defender F-14 Tomcat, and yes, I actually worked on this black F-14 when I was in the Navy. I was stationed at VX4, and we called that one Vandy 1, and that black paint looked cool, but was a pain in the ass to work on. But like all your standard Tricube Tails, it gives a quick rundown of all the rules, which is really all you need. Instead of using Karma and perks in this case, I decided to use munition and airframe to better fit the setting, but it's essentially the same thing. You use munitions to power the use of your perks, and your airframe is your resolve. When you run out of airframe, you get shot down. Mission generator, the flight schedule, and the second side of that page gives an example of a specific application of those tables. Next up, we have Red Wave Rising, and this is sort of the Red Dawn, Wolverine, Survivalist, the Commies Attack 80s action movie. It has its mission objectives, and on the other page, a breakdown of how you might turn those tables into something more specific. And of course, all of these things also have these little twist to the story icons at the end, which are handy and interesting to use. This setting would also work very well as a more of a gritty, Red Dawn, post-apocalyptic type thing too. Next is 1520, Habsburg Rising. This is one of my favorite settings, one of my favorite times in history, is these 1520s, right in the middle of the Holy Roman Empire, the ascension of Kaiser Karl V. Again, the rules are there, basic background, and a list of adventure hooks, foes, location, and the actual mission you're set on. The Forlorn Hope. Forlorn Hope is basically a suicide squad. They were sent to do, well, suicide-y things. And in this particular setting, this comes with a little bit extra. It has your mission objectives as your typical mission generator. But this also allows you to create heritage, soldier type, and background for the people in the Forlorn Hope, because the Forlorn Hope is a squad. So this is a squad generator. You can use it to make your main character as well too. Um, but you have your main character, and the rest of the people in the squads, they're basically designed to be arquebus soaks. They're designed to get killed. You know, when you fail things, when the results is your guys die, your uh, your soldiers die, and this extra page helps you generate those soldiers. Gives you how they fight, what kind of, you know, like the type of soldier would determine what kind of bonuses or how they would fight, what it might, you know, how they may help you, right? Up next is Orphans of Ragnarok. Now this is the Tricube Tails version of my larger uh, Yarnheimer setting. This post Ragnarok, the survivors, the surviving humans of Ragnarok are sent to this harsh, frozen, essentially prison world and left to survive there. That's how Freya helped them escape the destruction at Ragnarok. Mission generators, table twist, just like standards. Oops. All right. This is one a little bit different. This is probably the first setting that I made for Tricube Tails. It had a little bit more than just a two-page generator. This is the I-666 Blood Sacks. And it's, like I said, there's a Tricube Tails roguelike. It's not really meant to be a fancy survivor. You know, everyone's nice and you can, you know, bravely pull through. You are a worm in a land of vampire lords, and it's very easy to die. So it has the same. It's set up differently than the others, so I didn't use Scribus for this, and it has a different format. But it has the same mission generator. It has the same description of the rules. But then it comes with a quick description of the setting. It talks about the vampire lords that rule the realm. Gives information on those, how they interact, how they treat people, the type of, you know, mischief that they get up to. A list of creatures that your characters are likely to be killed by. And then finally your typical mission generator expansion that's set for this world. So your familiar threats, locations, and twists to the story. Now included in this is a table, and this is where the die 666 comes from. There are, I think it turns out to be what, 214, something like that. But here is D666 NPCs or characters. All right, these are, each one is given a name, a sex, a trait, an archetype that fits the setting, right? Some of these are like blood collectors and blood surgeons and stuff like that, because the setting is very much, I was going for a Legacy of Kain type setting where the humans are just, they're allowed to live, but they are slaves essentially. And the players, the characters, play those humans who have decided to try to escape their bonds and work for essentially a resistance. Okay, so each one has a perk, a quirk, a tool that they start with, because in this particular setting, again, things are limited. You are a worthless worm slave. You're a blood sack. At any time, one of these vampire lords can decide that they are hungry and want to eat you or drain you or, well, do other various debauchery upon your person. You don't find any of that detailed. I'm more of a fade to black kind of person, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just kind of implied in the setting that there's all sorts of deviance and abuse that goes on uh, to these human survivors. And then the final one is an appearance, just a singular feature, notable feature to them. And you can use this table. You can either roll straight across, and take everything and make a new character, or you can roll each column separately, a name, sex, trait, archetype, whatever, and generate as random of a person as you want. The main reason that I included this in here was actually just to make quick NPCs, because the setting, it's really a you die. If you mess up and some vampire inquisitor finds you, you're not going to survive. He's going to kill you. So if you do something dumb, you're dead. And so this table is essentially provided for that specific reason. All right, and my final offering here is on the exact opposite end, the Land of Bright. This is a fairy tale RPG, not necessarily for kids, but it's really designed to be more of a well, let me rephrase that, more of a modern, nice fairy tale kind of setting. Because if you're looking at historical fairy tales, they're drinking blood, they're getting eaten by ogres and things like that. Monsters are getting their heads cut off, that kind of thing. The Land of Bright, however, is designed to be a happy place, a happy occasion, where any combat is really kind of it's more of a conflict, right? You don't have to kill the giant spiders. You bonk them or you trick them, and you win the conflict, and they flee, they run away. Okay? Or you don't even get into a fight because you're actually there trying to convince somebody to change their ways. Or you're trying to convince or help people so that they are not harming themselves or others. It's really, I mean, you can play it however you want to. You can turn it into, your where's me gold, and you're running around chopping people up. But the description, the way I envisioned it and wrote it, was so that these different people, the people of Bright, are called lings, and there are different type of lings. The ruler is the kingling. There's grimlings. Those are people who are kind of on the wrong track. They are someone who's become bitter and enjoys causing trouble. A twistling is somebody who's kind of on that path, but everyone in the land, except for the cats, are redeemable, right? You can do something to help themselves, to help them come back towards, helping others and letting go of their cruelty and their bitterness. There are three main types of characters that the people can play. There's the lings, which they're basically like little trollkin type people, little elves. You have the children of paper or straw, which are essentially living dolls, living toys. And then you have the furkin, and the furkin are intelligent animals. They're not anthropomorphic, but they speak and they are able to do what a regular, like a rabbit. All right, and the Land of Bright is a small place, so we're talking 12 inches type thing. So we've got rabbits, mice, things of that nature. Those are the type of animals and creatures that you will find here. And the furkin are one of the type of characters you can deal with. They're intelligent. Animals are not. The beasts are not. So you are playing a intelligent critter basically, and they pretty much all get along and they work together. That each character type has their own strengths and weaknesses, and included are different types of beings, creatures that can threaten, that might have to be dealt with, and some sites around um, the land that you'll find. The city of Prism, Ariana, the King's Lake, Pelican Tree. So just kind of fairy tale type places that make for good areas to explore. And the most evil bad guy people are the cats. The cats are not nice. And if you're a cat lover, I'm sorry, they're just not nice in this one. And that's the Land of Bright. So there you go. Those are all only available in PDF because there's really not enough. They're not long enough. There's not enough there to really make uh, books for them. But those are my offerings for using Tricube Tails. Now, saying that, I did design them for Tricube Tails, and the little one-page rules for Tricube Tails are included. But a lot of them are just, the core of it are just mission generators. So you could really use it for any setting. You could take these things, and that's true of all of. If you look under Zadmar Games, they have a ton of one-page RPG settings that they make, and a lot of those they're just, there's a little blurb about the setting, and then there's mission generators, and you can pull those mission generators really for anything, for any game. They're just simple D6 tables. But anyway, I had fun making them. I think they're pretty cool. So if you're interested, check them out. They're all very inexpensive. I'll leave links below, and happy gaming.